Hey, what's going on, guys? Sinister.forest here. Welcome back to the channel, and I have one very important question, and that is, what the hell are they trying to do with Resident Evil this time?
You're all going to die down here.
Before we get started with today's content in the video, I want to hear from my subscribers, and I want to know, what is your guys' favorite character from the Resident Evil franchise? This can be any of the games, any of the movies, it can be the heroes, the heroines, it could be the villains, or it can even be a monster or zombie, BOW, anything you like. Whatever is your favorite character, let me know in the comments. I want to know. First off, I want to say I am a huge fan of Resident Evil, especially the games. The movies, for me and a lot of other Resident Evil fans, not so much. The only thing that we've really been asking for so many years is to just give us a game, or a movie based on a game, and exactly like it is in the game. Don't add new characters or random things. So if many of you guys have heard, Netflix is doing a new Resident Evil adaptation, and it's supposed to be a 8-episode series. Each episode is going to be an hour, roughly, and it's going to be taking place in New Raccoon City. My question with this is, what happened to Old Raccoon City? Is this going to be a continuation of the Paul Anderson movies, like after Alice basically destroyed everything else and Earth was nothing more than a barren wasteland and there was like 5 survivors total? That was it? Like, where are they supposed to go with this is my question. I also heard a rumor that the series is supposed to take place in 2 different timelines, like 2022 and 2036. And it's like, guys, we don't need help getting confused with Resident Evil. I swear to God, this is like the Kingdom Hearts of survivor horror, I swear. So Netflix is going to be releasing the series on July 14th. Not like we're really gonna be watching it because we're gonna be stuck watching Stranger Things, but it doesn't really seem to have all that much support going on right now. So if you guys haven't heard any of the news, it's supposed to, I guess, take place with Wesker's kids. I didn't even really know that Wesker had kids until, like Resident Evil 6. They randomly introduced his son, and we were just like, okay, that's different, that's new. In the trailer so far of the Resident Evil adaptation on Netflix, we see a kind of like a hat tip to Umbrella, the T-Virus, the regular zombies, and then what seems like a tyrant. I don't know if it was the Web Spinner, Black Tiger, or the Black Widows. But either way, there's big ass creepy spiders in the trailer, so if you have arachnophobia, I don't recommend clicking on the trailer link that I'm going to leave in the description. But if you don't really have a problem with spiders, you don't really have a problem with horror, go ahead and check out the trailer. Amongst all the comments about the Resident Evil adaptation that's coming out on Netflix, I have seen many people comparing it to what looks like World War Z, and they're just kind of putting Resident Evil branding on it. A lot of people are also saying you can't just put Resident Evil branding on any kind of zombie movie and be like, there we go, it's all good. It's just gonna mess with the fans. The fans are gonna be increasingly pissed, and then no one's gonna want to touch the franchise for years on end, and I fear that it's gonna slowly start to die unless we can be saved with remakes. That's the only hope, I feel. As far as the Netflix adaptation, I think it's pretty safe to say it's not going to be on too many people's watch lists, just because they're just kind of over it after the train wreck that Welcome to Raccoon City was. For me personally, I'm still going to watch it. I'm going to give it a good attempt, and I'm going to review it for you guys later on what I think. I'm just not going to go into it with super high hopes like I did for Welcome to Raccoon City, because at first I was like, okay, that was a decent movie, and then when I actually rewatched it and thought about it for a while, I was just kind of slowly realizing that I didn't really care for it at all. Speaking of Welcome to Raccoon City, I just kind of feel like the events of the second and third games were very, very rushed together in the movie. They did like a couple of like very poorly executed game Easter eggs, like, hey, remember the keys? Like, here they are for a split second, and that's all there is to it. The entire orphanage part just didn't even have to happen, and the exact same results would have come from it. Also, to answer my own question to the beginning of the video, my favorite Resident Evil character is Leon Scott Kennedy. I have been a fan of Leon Scott Kennedy ever since Resident Evil 2, and more so in Resident Evil 4. Now, in this movie, Avan Jogia, wonderful actor. I have been a really big fan of his as well, ever since he played Beck on Victorious, honestly. And then he played Danny Desai in the show Twisted, that unfortunately got canceled, which I got really pissed off about because it left it on a cliffhanger and ended like that. really stupid. Anyways, with Avanjogia playing Leon Scott Kennedy, I kind of expected more of like a suave, snarky, kind of a cool take with Leon. But instead, they just made him the ass end of every joke, and I just really didn't like that because I feel like the other characters really disrespected the Leon character. Now I get, you know, hazing the new guy, kind of poking fun at him, but this was just completely like uncalled for, like the stuff that they were saying to him and like just the way they made him out to be so freaking dorky. Not only that, but everybody's favorite line from the original Resident Evil about the Jill sandwich, it did not need to make an appearance, especially because it was so kind of poorly written and cringy in the game. We didn't need that in the movie, and they just kind of did like a subtle hat tip to that. It's Jill sandwich now. It's like, oh my god. Overall, for Welcome to Raccoon City, I honestly gave it a 5 out of 10. The only reason why I give it a 5 out of 10 is because some of the elements I still liked. I just wish that they wouldn't have made it a Resident Evil movie. I just wish they would have made it a separate movie instead, because it would have made a little bit more sense to me. When it comes to the side series, like the animated ones, I didn't really watch those ones just because I didn't really hear good things about it. I didn't watch Infinite Darkness. I just kind of thought, what's the point? I was really disappointed with Welcome to Raccoon City, so I was just like, I'm gonna skip it for now. If it's something worth watching, let me know. Or if any of the animated series or movies are worth watching, let me know so I can give those a watch. Another thing I want to kind of point out when it comes to the Resident Evil series is the Paul Anderson forms of the movie, or versions of the movie. I feel personally that the first two films were pretty decent. Introducing the character Alice to the film franchise was unnecessary, in my opinion, as far as the storyline, but in order to make these movies kind of work, I guess they needed Alice, I guess, because of how they wrote it. In my opinion, it started to fizzle out after or during Resident Evil 3, when she started to get, like, I don't know what it was, like psychic ability or something, and also the clone thing. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand. Again, it's like Kingdom Hearts all over again. It's like this person has a clone, that person has a clone, Alice has a million clones, Dr. Isaacs has 14 clones, and you know, he became the tyrant, but that was just a clone that became the tyrant, and it just got really out of hand, really annoying, all the way up until the very last movie where you figure out that Alice herself is a clone of Alicia this entire time, and we've been following a clone, and then it just kind of leaves a very poor taste in your mouth, in my opinion. And I don't blame the Resident Evil fans, or at least the fans of the game. I don't blame them for being upset or angry with the outcome or the results of the movie or Welcome to Raccoon City, and I certainly don't blame them for having low expectations for this new Netflix adaptation. The one thing, in my opinion, that can still save the franchise is the remakes that we're getting for the games. Now, if you guys haven't heard, Resident Evil 4 is making a remake. Now, like I said, with Leon being my favorite character, Resident Evil 4 was a game that I played on GameCube, PlayStation 2, the Wii. I even have it for my Switch. I played it for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. I currently have it installed on my PlayStation 5. This is a game that I have beaten probably about 100 times on each console. I can probably play this game in my sleep if I really wanted to. Do I still freak out at certain points? Yes, especially the chainsaw guys. Not my favorite, but it's okay. I still love the games. The graphics of this new game look beautiful. I'll also leave a link to that trailer in the description down below so you guys can also check out that. When it comes to the remakes, in my opinion, I feel like they've been doing a pretty good job. They've just been like kind of sharpening the images with the Real 4 engine, and they've just been making like the storyline exactly the same, except the graphics are better. I really do like this. I like that they still keep everything the same, they keep the elements the same, and I'm really hoping that they give Resident Evil 4 the same treatment, and I don't want them to change too much of it. I'm really excited to see what they're going to be able to do with it. I'm almost positive I'm going to still freak out the chainsaw people. I don't want to even know what Verdugo looks like. Salazar, Sadler, all of them, the U3. I am very terrified because they were scary looking in the original, so I can only imagine what they're going to do with the remake. I hope they don't ruin them. I hope they don't make them like so scary that it's kind of lame or just really unrealistic, but we'll see what happens with that. So what character are you guys looking forward to most out of seeing in the Resident Evil 4 remake, or maybe even the Resident Evil Netflix adaptation. Maybe they'll stick in a random character that maybe we'll like. When it came to the Resident Evil games, I started feeling like, because I played through the main series, and then they started adding, or they did like the Code Veronica. That was a great game, and I hope to see a remake of that pretty soon. Then they made like the Silent Hill Revelations. Good lord, the Resident Evil Revelations, Revelations 2. What was it? What else was the other one? Umbrella Chronicles, and like a couple other side games that kind of added in details and information as we go along. Some details and information I might have missed, but I really liked Resident Evil 4. I started liking Resident Evil 5. It was a decent game for me. I liked it because it had a very similar play style to 4. And then when Resident Evil 6 kind of came out, it was not the best for me, not the best experience. The multi campaigns was pretty cool. I liked that, but because I feel like you had a little bit more to do, you got to see the story from different people's perspectives, but it's just the gameplay just didn't feel exactly the same, and I didn't really care for it. Resident Evil 7, wonderful game. I was absolutely blown away when I played through Resident Evil 7 for my first time. I currently have it platinumed on my PlayStation as we speak. But in my opinion, I just wish that they would kind of explain how we made the jump from Umbrella Corporation and the zombies and all this other kind of stuff to these cannibal hillbillies, basically. I don't know if the DLC explained that. I actually haven't even played the DLC. I don't even know if it explains that. If it does, let me know so I can play it. But I just feel like it was a different game. Like, it wasn't really Resident Evil. I guess that's just my opinion. Also, with Resident Evil Village, you continue playing as Ethan, and jacked up shit still happens to your hands and stuff. But even with that game, I haven't even completed that game. Funny story for another time. But with that game, I feel like the same kind of thing. It wasn't really a Resident Evil game, and then all of a sudden there's like, hey, Chris Redfield's in this, and it's like, what? Why? Where did he come from? How does he know Ethan? Blah, 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 blah. So many questions kind of arose from that, and like I said, I haven't beaten the game, so all my stuff could be answered. I just don't know yet. The last question of the video I want for you guys to try and answer is, are you excited about the Netflix adaptation, or do you think it's going to be a huge waste of time? And also, did you like Welcome to Raccoon City? Let me know the answers to all of your questions in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and I will see you guys for the next one.
You're all going to die down here.